really hard and their head just gets splattered, you know?
I'm sitting here watching the little video that we filmed.
I like the branch coming out of her mouth. I like that kill.
You know, the ideas
I like
for
that kill.
doing a tree kill where the branch pushes out of the girl's mouth.
Still have him kind of just pushing her head up against a tree, or that'd be too much?
A lot of interesting ideas with that.
Does ruin the effect of the branch coming out of the mouth. And we can test shoot little things like that.
I enjoyed
like,
watching.
Just go out, cut a little branch off, wand, some tape around it.
Was definitely, definitely key. We need to get him involved. We need to get him.
So you see the branch beforehand, you know it's there.
Connected with
Okay?
this.
And then when
I
the girl
think
turns around,
it
she
would be a
starts
cool
walking,
thing
the
to do
killer just
before
grabs
he
her head,
leaves
it
for
goes
Florida.
right up against the tree.
Which I hope that works out.
It pops out.
It may or
Well, the trick, of course, would be to find, even if we had to fucking take like
Bob's
clay
track record
and
is
clay a branch onto a tree,
only sadder
just to
than
have it at the right height kind of deal.
Was.
Like you see him pushing her towards a tree.
No, again, to shoot that would be to have her already up against
It's going to lower the audio on this a little
have the thing
bit.
in her mouth and pull it in, and then
I know Ryan's.
Okay, it's kind of hard to find an
I know
actress with a
Ryan's
hole in the
real
back of her head
excited
with a
about
branch passed
this.
through.
And later that day, we spoke on the phone, and he came up with like some shit. We were just talking about like getting the right
You can't
camera,
make her swallow
and
it.
we did a quick little search on eBay, and we came out with this really cool Canon camera,
what are you
which
talking about,
I
shooting it
think
from the
is
side
a
like
perfect
that?
camera.
Like not
And that
really
little
in her
buddy
mouth?
took it like a step further, and he came out with a camera crane, which, my initial reaction was, okay, he's gone off the deep end here. But the people who are selling the camera crane have a video on the site that shows how you can use it and what type of effects you can create with it. And when you look at that and you consider the price of it, and what you're going to get for your money, and what the real true return on this investment is, it no longer seems like an incredibly stupid idea. It's an amazing little item, because the things it's going to allow us to do are nothing short of fantastic.
Oh, I see.
We'll be able to pivot the camera. Adjust the zoom, even the focus.
And all we have to do is have her somehow draw it back into her mouth.
It has a 7-inch video screen that you can mount pretty much anywhere. So whoever's controlling the zoom and focus, whether it's the person working the crane or not, it's going to take a little time to master it, or even get halfway good at it, I think. The camera doesn't have a built-in hard drive. It has a small, it takes those small cassettes. And it's an HD camera, which is really cool. Downside's like $2,500, but it comes with the extra batteries. The only thing is, the guy says on the list, he doesn't know whether the batteries are any good or not. Then the other part is to find and replacement batteries for the camera, and see what they'll cost you, because there's no way you can film outdoors and always guarantee yourself a power source, which is always key to an outdoor shoot. You have to be able to power everything. But in any case, we're getting back to it. The crane comes with there's a package. It's about $800. I think it's $800. You take the crane, you end up with the 12-foot crane, you end up with the 7-inch touchscreen monitor. I don't know if it's touchscreen, it's TFT, so what the fuck that means. There's also the controls, which are matched up to the camera that we found online. The beauty about this $2,500 camera, it's pretty much factory refurbished. It's been brought back to the original factory settings. It comes with a light, which you're not going to find otherwise. The beauty part of this thing is that you got your camera, you got your light, you got your extra batteries, which is awesome. And this other system, this crane system, really, it'll work with it. And it'll allow us to do some really cool shit. It comes with the tripod for mounting the crane on. The other thing you have to supply from that with that kit is the camera and the counterweights. Counterweights are key in getting that fluid motion because it's going to offset the weight of the camera and the 12 foot of extension. Which I don't know if he realizes you're going to have that counterweight. Otherwise, it's going to be all retarded looking. But this looks like it'll move really smooth. The other thing is a boom mic, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, they also sell a kit for that, which puts it in the neighborhood of $300. So you're looking at about $1,100 to $1,200 for the equipment, plus the $25 for the camera. Which, if he's only going to borrow $5,000, that's going to leave a really tight budget. We've got to figure out what it's going to cost us to do the effects, which are key. Absolutely, positively, are not paying any actors. That's just not happening. It can't happen. There's no money in the budget for it. Everything in that 5,000 has to take us from opening scene to the end credits. Or opening credits and end credits. And the nice part is we'll have all that equipment for the second attempt, for a second film. Which, if we can turn anything over on the first one, and that's just, it's talking about going to shows and that, doing it, I would go as far as to say that, to do a show, it's going to cost us $1,000. There's no doubt in my mind. We go, it's a 3-day show. We pack everybody up in 2 vehicles. We go up there, we rent the hotel room, and it's going to be a room, it has to be a suite. Not that we're like Richie Rich or nothing, but you're gonna have me, him, and I would think you'd want to have 1 or 2 of the people from the movie that acted in the movies. That's nice about the free people. He just say like, look, we're gonna get you in. We'll pay the extra freight for like the 2 people. He wants to get like 2 girls in like mini skirts to hand out flyers. You also got to consider the cost of printing the flyers. Oh, excuse me. So I'm thinking it's going to be like $1,000 to get into a show. And I don't know if that's even going to include the table. Smart money moves is maybe not go to a chiller, which is the most expensive tables you can buy, but to rather go to like the Erie Film Festival, which is just nothing. It's really just all independent films. That's the whole gist of it. Bring your film there, screen it there, sell it there. So you're looking at a table there. The guy is really cool that runs it. I met him when I did the show with Bob. Nice folks all around, Got to try to make it as polished an effort as possible. I think it could be interesting, as Ryan said, if we don't try, we'll never know. And it could be something that would literally change all our lives forever. No more doing electrical work. My knees would be pretty fucking happy about that. I never really considered myself an actor, any way, shape, or form. But he has decided that based on my size, I'm like 6'5", and you just put me up against normal people, I look like a giant. So we take advantage of that to its full effect. I'll just basically tower over them, and using just some simple gimmickry, we can just make me look that much bigger on screen. One of the funniest things for me has been that going to the shows, particularly the ones where the professional wrestlers come to sign autographs and meet the fans, I can't help but notice how freaking small they are when you really do meet them. They're like really average sized guys, which again reminds me of the time I went to what was that restaurant that that Hollywood, whatever the heck it is, Bruce Willis and Demi Moore owners, and was it Cafe Hollywood or whatever it is, a big place. I mean, I went there once. It's down in Atlantic City, and they had the leather jacket that Stallone wore in Judge Dredd, and they had the leather jacket that Schwarzenegger wore in The Terminator. And I had gone my whole time, watching these movies. I was thinking these guys are big dudes, and you know, basically kind of like looking at them eye to eye because I know I'm a big guy. But the reality was that the Judge Dredd leather jacket was really a pretty small jacket, and the Terminator leather jacket was kind of a small leather jacket. I mean, I would make these guys look like dwarves, I mean, it could be like me standing next to Tom Cruise. He looked like a 7-year-old kid. Not that he doesn't anyway. So, like, just the idea of, that, and I often wonder, because I see these guys who play the villains in the different movies, and, Kane Hodder's a good-sized guy, but he's not tall. And just the idea that I would tower over Jason is kind of cool in itself. So to use a really big guy in one of these movies would be kind of fun to see, because you really don't see the big guys being used as the villains that often. There's that story about Patrick Swayze where he's filming a commercial or filming something, and he's, again, not a big guy, and the woman in the scene was taller than him, and there was like he had a scene where he has to kiss her. And the director pulls out a milk crate for him to stand on, just so that he could become, eye to eye with the woman. And he didn't take that very well. He was rather upset about that. It was insulting to him. But to me, it's more insulting to learn that these guys who they make look really big on screen are really very small in reality. I guess there's a benefit to them in doing that. But for me, if you're going to meet somebody who's supposedly a big bad dude, he should be a big bad dude. He shouldn't be a little person. Little people ain't scary. Big guys are scary. I'm a big guy, and I'm fucking scary. And that's all there is to that. Without wanting to, I scare people. I'm the guy that, when you're out shopping, I'm the guy you ask to get the stuff off the top shelf. It happens to me every time I go shopping. I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me. I think it's a goof. But when you're watching a movie, you want to see some reality. You want to be able to believe that guy on the screen can be the killer, and it ain't all about the acting. Like going back to the wrestlers, I would have sworn these guys were giants. I walk out there, and I'm looking down on them, and I'm like, weren't you taller? Weren't you bigger? I could have sworn you were, There's only a few of them that are really that, big, or close to my height and whatnot, and some that are taller. Then they look really massive. They look really, scary. But for the most part, it's the angles they shoot them on. Now, if you shot me on those same angles, I'm going to look like a Jolly Green Giant. Now, just sitting here talking to you, I could sit here and tell you I'm the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. I'm a big teddy bear. But, in the movie, I got to be the complete stellar opposite. I've got to be the big bad guy that, will kill you at a moment's thought. We were talking, and my makeup's going to be fairly simple and straightforward. White contact lens in this eye, and a scar straight down across the eye. Which is going to kind of look sweet. I have to go from Mr. Friendly to the guy that's going to fucking kill you. And, go back to being me. I think we'll shoot some of the makeup tests, to see where we end up with that. See what happens with it. I had this crazy idea for like the second film, or who knows when it'll happen. But I want to go with a clown. I want to be a clown. And I don't want to be a friendly, happy clown. I stumbled across this shirt years ago, and the moment I saw it, I said, holy cow, that's me. And makeup would be pretty cool. I think I could pull it off. I'm gonna have to get the grays touched up, kind of reddish streaks in what's left of my hair, and then, you know, the clown makeup. As much as I hate to do it, this is probably gonna have to go for that. But I really don't mind. I think it'd be a trip, and I would love like hell to do it. You know, it'll be either a killer clown, or the other idea was a clown detective. You know, kind of like your film noir style detective, only he's a clown. You know, clown makeup, but with the fedora, the trench coat, big giant badge, big ridiculously oversized gun. You know, but when he shoots somebody, they don't just fall down. It's a big ridiculous oversized gun, and I want to literally, like, when he shoots him, I want him to blow like a big chunk, like just this whole section here gone. You know, which if we learn our effects and we learn how to do the CGI, will be kind of a cool thing. You know, I think it'll be a trip. And Ryan may be right. It might be the thing that changes our lives. Each one of us, Ryan, Bob, and myself, we've all had, you know, the desire to do our own stuff, to do movies. We've watched everyone else's. They're a lot more forgiving of the shit films than I am. Bob, for example, liked the new Friday the 13th. I thought it was a piece of crap. Ryan was high on it when it first came out, but he went home after the movie, and I think maybe I planted the seed in his head about it, but he did pretty much come to the conclusion that it was a piece of crap. Ryan's taste in movies tend to just be like, okay, how many boobs does he see, and were the kills grisly? I still want to see a good story. In the case of Friday the 13th, in my opinion, they spent about all of 30 seconds on his origins. The scene with the mother getting decapitated, her entire time on screen was nothing more than maybe 30 seconds. So with that and just a brief little talk, maybe the whole origins maybe lasted a minute, which I thought was pretty much sacrilegious. If you're doing a remake, you know, oh yeah, this kid drowned and his mother went to kill everybody, and you know, this and that and that and this, and yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And we're treated to two separate groups of campers being killed off, which at a point Jason gets his hockey mask. Now, anyone who's ever watched the movies knows full well that Jason did not get the mask until the third movie, pretty much halfway through it. So I've been joking around saying this is Jason 2.5, because it's literally like 2.5 movies in this one movie, and it's done. I mean, the filming is, the cinematography is good. The production values are good. The script is a piece of crap. It's rushed. It's hurried. I can't believe the people that made it ever even, watched the Friday the 13th movies. Or if they did, I suspect they watched them in fast forward, because that's what it feels like. I just didn't care for it. Other people like it. I didn't. Another movie out around the same time as this is My Bloody Valentine. Was done in 3D, which I thought, that's great. And then I also, said, well, geez, you're remaking the Jason flick. Why didn't they just do that in 3D? The new 3D effect is pretty cool. You go to the digital theater, you get the glasses, you put them on, shit flies at you. There's depth of, you have depth of field. You can just you feel like you're seeing shit. The real, it's nice. I felt that movie might have been better had they presented it in 3D, but they didn't. I just don't understand some of their choices. I think they were really shitty and half-assed, but that's just me. Again, like I say, Bob, he just wants horror movies made, and he doesn't care whether they're good or not. I want horror movies made, but I want them to be good. I'm not willing to just settle for anything less than an honest attempt and a good effort. The names and the money and the people back in that movie, it just it should have been a hell of a lot more than it was. Jason was his origins are that he's sort of this slow, semi-retarded, semi-mongoloid kind of kid who drowns, and his mother blames the camp counselors and everyone for his death, and then she of course goes and kills people she feels are responsible. By the end of the first movie, she gets killed. Come around the second movie, we find out that Jason never drowned and that he was living in the woods. Not quite sure why he was living in the woods and not back with his mom, but he turns out to be this ridiculous killer. But he goes around this sack through the second movie, and like I said, half of the third. And he gets his hockey mask. It's when he gets a hockey mask that the whole series takes off. And I think that's all they focused on in this remake, reboot, rethinking, re-envisioning garbage fest. I know nothing I say will ever stop them from remaking a movie I like. There's never been any arguments from anyone that would say it's Hollywood. They have great taste, and they don't. They're assholes. They're whores. They just want to take every penny they can from you. It was disappointing, and I'll leave it at that. Bob has a real history of watching the biggest piles of shit. I mean, really, he's got movies where you see these creatures. Is it the giant claw? Is this giant pterodactyl Muppet-looking bird, and you literally see the strings attached to him throughout the whole time, every scene he's in. I mean, it just looks like a Muppet gone mad, and he thinks it's the greatest thing. I think it's a piece of crap. It's just fun to watch, as a goof movie, but you can't take it seriously. Bob, on the other hand, he takes all that shit seriously. But that's what makes Bob a fun guy to be around. As far as we're all concerned, we just have a great time around him. And this whole movie thing, Ryan wants to push forward. He wants to get it all done and just shit get happening. Because Bob's going to go away. We're not going to see him as much anymore, or if at all. I mean, who the hell knows? If it works out with his new girlfriend. Although I personally think it's all moving a little too quick. That's just me, though. I'm a very cautious person. I have trust issues. Definite trust issues. I was married, so I'll leave that to your imagination where my trust issues came from. In any case, if we can put this shit together and put a cast together, get all the things in place, we're going to do this little fucking killer movie in the woods. Our filming time is going to be real fast. It might be a couple of weekends, and then maybe some callbacks for some pickup shots and stuff like that we might have missed or feel we need to flesh it out. Beyond that, I'm not sure where it's going to go, what it's going to do, if it's ever going to get finished, if it's ever going to get started. I'd like to think it would. But we'll see. I'm going to bring this little guy along, and film kind of like behind the scenes stuff. Maybe hand the camera off to other people, see what they come up with, and then that'll be like our behind the scenes look, that sort of thing. Maybe even a commentary track if we figure out how to put one in. Choosing an alternate audio track kind of deal on the DVD would be kind of fun. We'll play with it. We'll see what we can do, and we'll do the best we can. So that's it for now. I'm gonna get back to work.